Haboim. Welcome everyone. We're about to begin Be'ezras Hashem together on Daf Chof Amud Aleph, starting with the new Mishnah on Daf Yud Tes Amud Beis. The Mishnah depicts for us the continuation of what takes place on the night of Yom HaKippurim. Says the Mishnah, Bikesh Lis Namneim. If the Kohen Gadol becomes tired and he wants to fall asleep and doze off, Pirchei Kuhuna Makin Lefona Be'etzet Roda. The youngsters, the Bachurim, who are Kohanim, they snap in front of him to keep him awake. Now, the word that is used over here for Bachurim is Pirchei Kohanim, from the word Prochim, because their face begins to sprout forth their beards. And they're young men that are the Pirchei Kuhuna, it's referred to over here. V'orim, they say to the Kohen Gadol, Ishi Kohen Gadol, my master Kohen Gadol, Amoid, stand v'hafeg achas al haritzpa. Stand on the cold floor. The floor was shayish, it was stone, and it would then cause him to wake up. Some they would tell him also to walk around, to keep him then busy. And they would keep him busy until the zman of the shchita of the korban tomi shel shachar, which was from the time of alois hashachar. Says the Gemara, asking the following question: My tzroda. What is tzroda? What is this word that we're referring to? That the Pirchei Kohanim, their kahuna, are makin lefonav be'etz betzroda. Omar Rav Yehuda tzarasa deda. It's a contraction of the word tzarasa deda. Tzarasa means the co-wife, of the da of this. What is that referring to? Ask the Gemara. Mahi gudal. It's the co-wife of the gudal, the one that's right next to the thumb, namely the index finger. That's how they would snap. Machve Rav Huna. Rav Huna demonstrated how this is done. Va'ozil kola bekuli beirav. And he made a loud sound in all of the Beis HaMedrash. So he was demonstrating that even the index that is snapped with the thumb can make a loud sound. We, and some of Farshim explain, that's actually referring to the regular way that we do so, with the middle finger when one snaps. And how would that be explained with the words tzarasa deda? How's that tzroda? They explain that it's a co-wife, so to speak, with the index. It is in coexistence, and just as two wives are in competition with one another, so too the middle finger has competition with the index, and therefore the middle finger is what's used for this snapping, which makes a louder sound the way we're accustomed to. The Gemara now quotes the Mishnah and states, Va'oimrim loi. The Pirchei Kuhuna say to the Kohen Gadol, Ishi Kohen Gadol, my dear Kohen Gadol, my master, Hafeg achas ala ritzba. The word achas is peculiar. Achas means something specific, something unusual, miyuchad. Omar Rav Yitzchok al chados. It's a demonstration. Demonstrate to us something that is unusual, that is a chidush. Maihi, what is this that they're asking him to demonstrate? Amrei lei achvei kida. Demonstrate, show to us kida. Kida is a type of bowing down, which is very difficult. Most people cannot perform a kida. While standing up, one has to then bend his entire waist until that his fingers are to the ground, whereby he holds himself up from his fingers onto the ground. So that was a form of him keeping awake. Even if I suppose he was not able to do so, but they would instruct him, they would encourage him to try to do so. Maybe they would even help him to do so. Again, this would cause him to then stay awake. Says the Gemara further, Uma'asikin oisoi ad sheyagia zman shchita. The Mishnah is quoted as they keep him occupied until the zman of the shchita, which is the shchita of the korban tomi shel shachar. Tana, it's taught in a brisa, Lohoyu ma'asikin oisoi loy b'neivel vel b'chinor el b'peh. They would not cause him to be occupied with music from various instruments like the lyre, the harp, but rather with their own singing of their mouths. What would they sing with their mouths? They would sing psukim and tehillim. Im Hashem lo yivne bayis. If Hashem will not build the house, the Beis Hamikdash, shav amlu boinav boy. Not is those who are going to then be busy toiling in its building. In other words, they're coming to instruct him to do the avodah l'shem shomayim. Only then is HaKadosh Baruch Hu Shechina going to rest and bring the bracha and the kapar that we need. Ma'ikira Yushalayim lo hayu shenim kol halaylo kedei sheyishma kohen gadol kol havora v'lo tehei sheina chotaftoi. It says over here that the chashuvim, the Yekirei of Yushalayim, they had a minhag to stay up all night on Leil Yom HaKippurim in order to then make noise with words of Tehillim, with Divrei Torah, so that the Kohen Gadol would be distracted and be kept awake throughout the night. Tani, the Gemara brings a Brisa, Abashol Momar, Af Begvulin, Hayu Oisin Kain, Zeichel Mikdash. Even in Gvulin, they had the minhag to stay up all night. Zeichel Mikdash. Elo, Shahayu Chaitin. But it resulted in chet, men and women staying up all night and leading to chet, even on Yom HaKippurim. Omar Abaye, Vitem Rav Nachem Bar Yitzchok. Tirguma, what is this referring to? They explain B'Neherdo, in the city of Neherdo, this took place, chet. Dom Alei Aleo the Rav Yehuda, Achve the Rav Kala, Achua, the Rav Salah Chasido, Elio Hanovi, Zachur Latoiv. He said to Rav Yehuda Achua, the brother of Rav Salah Chasida, Amrisu, you say, Amai loy osi Mashiach. Why has Mashiach not come? V'ho'aino yoima de kipurei hu v'ibol kama besulosa b'neherdo. It's Yom HaKippurim, and still many besulois lost their virginity on Yom HaKippurim in Neherdo. Omar lei, so he says back to Eliyahu Hanavi, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, my Omar. What did HaKadosh Baruch Hu say? Omar lei, Eliyahu responded, top of Chof Amar Aleph, La Pesach Chatas Roivetz. At the entranceway, the Yetzer Hara is waiting to then pounce on a person to cause him to do sin. And therefore, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, although he does not justify, but he understands to some extent man's struggles with the Yetzer Hara. And only if he's oisik in Torah is he able to then go lamala min hateva, to be misgaber over the Yetzer Hara. V'satan my Amar. So he asks Eliyahu Navi, but what does the Satan say? He certainly doesn't justify in any which way such type of sin. Omar lei, Eliyahu responds, Satan b'yom kipuro lesle reshusa la'astune. The Satan on Yom HaKippurim does not have the ability to then prosecute on Yom HaKippurim. Memai, ask the Gemara, why is that? Where do you know that that's so? That the Satan, which is the Yetzer Hara, doesn't prosecute on Yom HaKippurim? The Gemara says, although he doesn't prosecute, but he certainly can be machti. So what does it mean? Where do we know that it doesn't prosecute? Om Rabbi Bar Chamo, Hasotem begematria tlas meya v'shisin va'arbo have. The gematria, the numerical value of the word hasoton, is 364. Why is that significant? Teaching us the following. Tlas meya v'shisin va'arbo yomi isle v'shus lastune. There are 364 days of the year that the Yetzer Hara, the Satan, he prosecutes. However, b'yom de Kippur lesle v'shus lastune. On Yom HaKippurim, he doesn't have that koyach. And therefore there's one day that's missing of the sun, the days of the sun calendar, 365 days a year. 364, he prosecutes. On the 365th, he sees Klal Yisrael dressed in white, not eating and not drinking, and having brotherly hood between Ish v'chaveiroi, and therefore, instead of prosecuting, he says, Shvachim to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. This is the day of Yom HaKippur, the magical day, the day where Klal Yisrael zoichet to kaparo ayidei their teshuvah.